mythology, the world. I'm interested in like the world. But basically, my life has been like what you call it hard, and nobody has an easy life. But I've been through not normal circumstances. But my life has mainly consisted of being a victim, a product of the system, here and there, no place to call home. My mom wasn't the most. She had maternal thoughts in her head, but she wasn't able to act on. So my daddy's been incarcerated. I barely met him when I was 15, and by that time I had been through the streets, so I didn't respect him as a man, as far as that goes. And my life was basically just existing. I've never lived, and that's what I'm coming to the conclusion of. I've existed. I've breathed. I'm breathing, and I'm eating, and I'm alive, but I haven't lived. I'm just existing. So I went to a program about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And the program was YMC, Youth Mentoring. My friend ended up telling me about it, and I wasn't interested in anything like that. I had always thought of the idea of a mentor, but I didn't want somebody who I felt like was only there to listen to me because it was their job. So I doubted the sincerity of it. But they said it was free food, so I went. So I ended up going, and
even as adults, we still take in the free food.
they had the free food.
See, I advertise that on this leadership thing too. Lunch will be served.
That sells it.
Now I got their attention. You know what I'm saying?
It's right there. But I ended up going, and as soon as I go, she didn't tell me anything. She said it was like a form of hood therapy. Like it was therapy, but not in the regular sense. So I'm like, all right, I'll try it. So I go, and everybody's just talking about their feelings, and I'm there for like 5-10 minutes, and I'm like, okay, this isn't normal. Like I'm not too, as far as like emotionally open. I've been closed off all my life. I was taught not to show emotion. So we started getting into conversations around, like they say, go around the room and introduce yourself to people. I'm not too keen on that either. And I ended up walking up to Dick, and something told me to speak to him, and I spoke to him, and ended up saying something intriguing. We ended up talking to each other and clicking instantly. But it was time to sit down, and everything. The group dispersed. The females went into a whole other location so they can have their healing time, and the men stayed amongst the men. And it just basically, I was going around the room listening to everyone's problems, but I didn't feel anything as far as me personally talking. I felt like I wasn't of that room. I didn't belong to have my say in that room. So among everything that was happening, Dick started telling his story about everything that he was going through, and I was going through a lot at that time. I was homeless. I've been homeless technically since the age of, I'd say, around 13. I've been like on the streets. My mom, she knows of it, and I have siblings, but everything I do is basically out of survival. So it was already like, okay, I'm not going to talk to these people. I have nothing in common. But it's crazy because his story, he's way older than me. Everything's different, but it clicked within me. And I'm like, it's crazy. He has something deep. I feel compelled to share mine. And we just basically clicked after that. And he ended up saying that he was no stranger, and it instantly told me to misfortune. I too am no stranger to misfortune, obviously. And after that night, it was just kind of, okay, but now what? Like, I was never comfortable as far as around another man. Like, my male role models were my brothers, and my brothers are gang members. I was never a gang member per se, but you're affiliated with them if you're with them. So after that, it was kind of just, okay, I kind of just threw faith out the window. I didn't expect anything, much less a relationship. So when he called my phone, he's like, oh, you want to go out? He's like, not if you think it's weird. I'm like, okay. Why not? Like, what am I going to do? What else am I going to do? Sit on the block all day and not doing nothing? Why not? So I ended up I have very few like-minded friends as far as they wanted to see something more. And I ended up getting the few friends that I had and told them, hey, you trying to come to Malibu? I'd never been to Malibu in my life. I have no reason to go to Malibu. And they're like, yeah, it's a museum. So he comes and he picks us up and he takes us. And from the moment that we got in there, the thing with me and Myth is I used to get suspended so many times when I was a kid, back to back. I don't think it was for attention, but I had a hard time doing what I was supposed to do in school. And my mom ended up like taking my TV, my games, everything that I had, and she just basically left books. And I read all the books, so I got bored. So I went to the library. Couldn't have a library card, so I started stealing books. Like, who steals books? But I really used to go and steal books and take them home, and I just became so enveloped in them. And then I started noticing that I liked certain things. I started with Greek mythology. I read about everything I could possibly read about. Went to the Romans, then Egyptians, then Norse. Read the Bible from front to back, and just I wanted to know everything as far as what do other people think? What are other people's thoughts as far as how we were created, what goes down? Because everyone has a story, and that's what I was so in love with, was the stories. It allowed me to say, okay, I'm going through all of this, like with Achilles and the Trojan War and everything that was going on. Okay, I can go through these problems. I felt like I can be a hero in my personal circumstance, as far as I have these people who they may not be real, but they're in the book telling me that they've stood against these odds and still made it. So who am I to say that I couldn't, just because I don't have this? So it really, I guess you could say, stuck with me. And ever since then, I've been reading all the myths. I started expanding to other pantheons and gaining more and more knowledge. And after that, it was just kind of already over. I just read anything I can get my hands on. The Odyssey, the Iliad, all pantheons that you could probably think of. And ended up, as soon as I got into Getty Villa, I was able to name the statue. I was able to say, this is Aphrodite. She's the goddess of love, beauty, sex, and desire. Her mother in some stories is Diane. Her mother in most stories she's descended from Uranus. She was born from sea foam, and after he was castrated. And I can tell you certain things, like her sign is a mirror, her symbol is the dove, her Roman equivalent is Venus, things like that. And this is for every single god. And I was able to go from statue to statue and point that out, and before I knew it, there's people following me like, do you work here? I'm like, I'm wearing basketball shorts and some Jordans. Do I look like I work here? But it was just amazing for me to see that other side of, okay, because I knew everything that you could possibly ask a 15, 16-year-old about. How do you survive in the streets? How do you do this? How do you do that? But when it came to something like, oh, do you know what a bank account is? Do you know how to deposit a check? I had no idea. So it was interesting to me to know that it was a whole nother world out there beyond what I was going through, because I didn't have any type of role models where they were doing things that I wanted to mimic. I was I like to watch people, even from a young age. I like to observe and see what's going on before I envelop myself in something. And that's exactly what it was. I started just going for it and clicking up with him, and he's calling me and taking me to all type of community events and stuff, IOW, Echo. These are like outlets that I've never had, because I'm the type of person, I have a problem. What comfort does it bring to me to tell another person my problem? For like in ridicule, I was always self-judged, like I don't have that comfortability. It's the first person I actually say in 19 years, I'm 19 years old, that I'm actually like comfortable with. And to a sense that this guy's like my pops, basically. Like we've established that relationship. We're so close in the sense that it's more than culture, ethnicity, age, any of that. It closes all type of bridges. It encompasses a lot of things. To me, being a mentee is more than just having someone to talk to, being able to have someone who can tell you a set, concrete way to do things. It's having a person that no matter what, they can be anything. They're what you need them to be. I feel like that's the most powerful thing, because I've sat there and had a whole mom to talk to, or even my dad's out of incarceration. I haven't talked to him because I don't feel the need to. I feel like when it comes to a masculine level, as far as a man talking to another man, whether it be about politics, females, whatever, this is the God. We have like revolutionary conferences in the car, like all types of things, but this is what we click, and it wasn't something that was, oh, we're going to make you a mentor, and it was something that completely happened by accident, and that's the way I love it. It's something that I feel is real. It's something that can't be fake. It's something that you're not getting paid to do. It's something that you really care about me, and I really care about you. And it's been about to be 2 years, and I can say this man right here has done everything that he can possibly do. He says that I give back. I don't know how, but it's just, I like to feel like I do, but it's just a loving relationship. And he's also, as far as I go, I was long set against it being any potential route for me to go. I was just trying to live day to day, much less worrying about what I was going to be when I grew up. Yeah. So as soon as he came out, he brought beauty as far as to my world, because I had long ruled out any possibility of it being beauty in my world. Mm-hmm. But that's just what I want to say.
Thank you, brother. both. And if there's, I only have time for one or two questions.